All right, good morning, everybody. So here we have 16 cups of cranberries. We are going to be making a delicious cranberry sauce and cranberry juice. Starting with the cranberry sauce, each recipe calls for 8 cups of cranberries. I want to double this recipe, so I'm using 16. And then each recipe calls for 4 cups of sugar. I have right here. So I'm going to double this, and we'll have 8 cups of sugar. And so I'm using a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to be doing double the amount too. So we'll have 16 cups of sugar in here. Or 16 1/2 cups, not 16 cups. Still 8 cups of sugar. 1, 2, 8. So remember, that's only 4 cups of sugar right there. That's for one recipe. 9, 10, 14. I hope this all fits because we need to add some water too. I think. I'm glad I checked back because I did mess up. We need one more. There we go. All right, so we need 2 cups of water for each recipe. Now this will cook down a little bit, probably a lot, so I think we'll be able to fit it all in there. All right, here's 2 cups for the first recipe. Here we go. Now this is a canning safe recipe. We are going to be canning this today, and I'll show you the process of that too. How we're going to do it detailed step by step. All right, so we're going to transfer this over to the oven. The oven, I meant stovetop. All right. Actually, I'm not going to put it here. I want to put it over here because we have our water bath canner that will be on here in a minute. So I don't want to have to switch things around. I'm going to put that on medium for now. We'll come back and check what we're supposed to have it on. I'm going to give it a nice mix. Then after we get this all going and heating up, I'm going to get my water bath canner all set up. So we'll be ready to get everything in the canner. Alright, so these berries are going to pop up. They're going to explode. So we're going to put the lid on. We want to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat down to a simmer for 10 minutes. And I better get that water canner going. I thought it was going to take longer. Alright, we got our cranberries coming up to a boil here for cranberry sauce. And I have my water bath canner heating up here with some very, very hot water in it as it is. Alright, and while I have this coming up to temp, I'm going to add a splash of vinegar. This will keep the, I believe they're calcium deposits off. It looks like I'm going to need some more white vinegar. It's just going to keep the water spots off. This way we have a nice clean looking jar. And if you forget this step, you can always wash your jars with vinegar and soapy water when you're done, when you're washing. I have my nice clean warm jars here, ready for the hot cranberry sauce. Alright, learn from my mistakes and make sure you're watching the whole time. You have a pot that is this full. Alright, I cleaned up that burner as best as I can for right now. I'm going to have to wait until it cools down to get the rest. There's only a little bit left on it. I moved this to the front burner now so we don't burn that anymore. And I will keep a close eye on it instead of washing dishes while I'm waiting. a little venting room as well. I have lowered the heat and we have 7 minutes left on a simmer. Minute left on our cranberry sauce, and then we're going to take our immersion blender and blend it all up. And there's no pectin needed for cranberry sauce because the cranberries themselves have a lot of pectin in them, so it'll gel up just fine without it. I'm going to turn off the heat, remove the lid, and let this cool down a little bit so we can blend it up. Alright, there's our timer. So I'm going to give it a little stir. Alright, let's blend it up. Trying not to burn myself. Be very careful not to burn yourself. Oh! Ah! I knew that was going to happen. That always happens. Alright, and cranberries absolutely will stain, so I'm going to get those wiped up first. Well, we move to the next process, moving fast though because I don't want this to gel up on me before I get them in my jars. Alright. Alright. Let that stove cool off before I can get the rest of that. Right, so what I want to do here is I'm going to ladle this into here, but I don't want all the seeds, and there are like a few whole berries still in here. Don't want those in my jar. So I'm going to put the fine mesh strainer over top. And if you like whole berries in here, you can just smash them. It'll be just fine. I like a very smooth cranberry sauce. I made this exact recipe last year and it was so good. I'm excited to have it back on the pantry shelf. I only did one batch of this last year. This year I'm doubling it because I didn't have enough come Christmas. I'm not sure how many jars I'm going to get out of this time. I don't remember how many I got last year. Dear brother and sister. Straining this is going to take all the seeds and the flesh out, so I don't have to worry about any chunks in my cranberry sauce. Guys, this looks so delicious. I don't know if this vibrant maroon color is coming up on camera, but so good. I cannot wait to pop one of these open on Thanksgiving. We also like to have cranberry sauce for Christmas too. So that's why I make so much. If I happen to have made enough that it'll last till next year's Thanksgiving and Christmas, I will be very happy about that. So no worries if there's too much. We will get it all used up. Alright, we want a 1/4 inch headspace here. Alright, looks about right. We'll check the headspace when I'm done doing all the jars. Okay, I apologize. My camera died while I was filming, and so I just want to tell you what I did here. I have So we ended up getting 7 pints of cranberry sauce, which is great. I was expecting 6, so 7 is great. I took a towel with some water on it because I ran out of vinegar and wiped down the rims before I put the lids on. And while you're doing that, you want to check for any nicks, and I'm glad I did that because I did have a nick in one of my jars right here. And this one has to go in the garbage now. It's not usable anymore if it's got a nick in the rim because it won't seal properly. So I had to empty that one out and fill it back up. Fill back up another one. And then I put the lids on, make them fingertip tight, no more than that. Now they're ready for the canner. So we have our hot jars going into a hot canner. Want to make sure they're about the same temperature so they don't break. These are supposed to process for 15 minutes plus 5 minutes for my elevation. So I'm going to be processing these pints for 20 minutes. You want your water to be an inch over the top of your jars. And I need to finish filling this canner up with this empty jar with hot water in it. This way, I forgot what I was going to say. This way they don't jiggle around and break while they're processing. I'm going to turn on my heat, let that come to temp. We're going to let that go to a rolling boil before we start our timer. And then we need to process it for 20 minutes for my elevation. Look up your elevation to get your proper time to process. Proper processing time. You want to make sure you put a towel or something down that you can set these on so they don't break on the countertop. All right, it's been 5 minutes. We're going to get these out. How beautiful that is. And this is what the finished product looks like for our cranberry sauce. Tomorrow I'm going to come back after 24 hours have passed, and I'm going to take the rings off, check the seals, then I'm going to wash them down with some soapy water, let them dry, and put them on the pantry shelf. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.